Short and long, yeah? In there. Press. Short and long shoot. So what should we be doing now? Short and long passing. That means when you give a pass out to someone, straight away, it's ready to be away to someone else then. Not put your foot on, not then look up, but automatically you should already decide what you're going to do with the ball. Please be quicker.
I talked about 3 months ago when the squad and yourself are going through an awful lot of difficulties. Now that you have signed quite a few players in the January window and are still working on it, are you optimistic for the second half of the season?
It's a strange question, because I would like to think I was optimistic in the first part of the season. I think circumstances, wee bits and pieces went against us that really couldn't be helped. So it's nothing down to the fact that, you know, it's nothing against the players who were here in the first part of the season, who worked tirelessly, worked very hard on the training pitch, put in the best they could for us.
And didn't have a lot of luck.
We didn't have a lot of luck. No. I think then injuries haven't helped in the first part of the season. Now, I'm very fortunate that we're starting slowly to get players back who have been injured, which has made a difference to us. And now that we've attracted some new players in to bolster the squad and sort of kick on. So I think it's not really being optimistic. I think it's more along the lines of we just keep working and planning for what we want when we started, which was to build a competitive reserve team,
yes.
Which in the end would help us first, and that's what this is about. I think, to be honest, the Intermediate Cup proved that actually we're better than what people thought we were.
Yeah.
I think the whole issue of Hound Wolf, to be honest, was very unfair on us. And the rules that apply to the Intermediate Cup, I think, are very unfair to reserve teams. We ended up having to field a team without a goalkeeper that day, and I think that's a very harsh thing on a reserve team. That's the position we were in, and there's nothing we could do with it because of the rules, because of injuries to the squads. So that was sad that that's how that ended, because I honestly felt if we had had the choice of everyone through injuries and regulations, then we would have been a lot closer that day.
Yeah.
I think when you take into account the Glentoran game and the Institute game, firstly, Glentoran play a nice brand of football, they always have done. I'm very complimentary about them, but having left the pitch knowing that that we should have won the game, that they realistically only had 2 half chances in the game. Our new keeper pulled off a fantastic penalty save, and then we go on to attack and chance after chance, and their keeper pulled off 4 or 5 excellent saves. So it's not that we were close. On that day I thought we were by far the better team. Right. Coming up against the Institute here on Saturday, Institute I think have played the nicest football that I've seen of any team. I think especially their centre midfielders are fantastic players that have a big future here. So again, I know what we came into on the back of the dead beating us heavily before, to then lose 2-1 in a game where it was 2 silly mistakes that cost us goals. Yeah. It wasn't that we did anything wrong apart from that, and then in the second half I thought we totally controlled the game. Right. Put the goal back, and we should have scored more.
What's the depth of the squad now, from having the bare 10, 11 players? Who can you pick from now?
Right now our squad is sitting at a choice of 22 players.
Very good. That is
we had 24 last week.
Right.
We have released a couple of boys this week.
Right.
And we're possibly adding another 2 this week.
Right.
So
as
far as the squad goes,
right,
we're very happy in the business we've done. Right. We've purposely tried to do it very quickly.
Good.
And a lot of the signings were tied up on the 1st of January.
Yes.
Because we wanted to move on to the second part of the season.
Good.
However, if the opportunity comes up to sign someone who's very special, which that opportunity may have come up, then we would be silly not to pursue it.
So have you in terms of the players you've signed, do you reckon you've brought more experience in? Or is it just more young players? Or is it for certain positions?
It's more to do with a mix of, we can talk about experience, it's more to do with players who've experienced this level,
right,
but that are very young players.
Right.
Players that have been from this area, that have been playing outside this area, at other Irish League clubs, etc. And I think it's the whole long-term goal of this club is to try and bring local players back and try and get them playing here. So that's one of the main reasons.
Yes! Come on in.